With a whole bunch of things totally out of our control threatening to end life as we know it, why wouldn't we just make up a few more to keep the danger level high? Cataclysmic weather events and the possibility of life-ending space rocks touching down aren't enough to keep in the back of our minds. Let's add in some demons with powers just as grand and destructive. I guess that way we can at least control the narrative a little bit, changing bits and pieces as centuries float by. The most enduring will stick with us and the rest will evolve to be scarier or be forgotten. Supremely powerful, often embodying elements of ourselves in the universe that we don't quite understand, demons sit atop the evil entity power rankings. 9,000 is the base level here, so toss your scanners aside for the time being. Sure, some are weak and can only cause hell for a few people at a time, but we're not discussing those today. No way. Instead, we're delving into the mythos behind the big boys. And girls. Demons don't discriminate. Hello horror heads and welcome back to the scariest channel on YouTube, Top 5 Scary Videos. I'm your horror host Keegan Hughes and today we're running down the top 5 scary demons that could end the world, part 2. Before we get started, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more demonic details. Roll the clip. If you haven't seen it, that clip comes from the apocalyptic comedy This Is the End, and there is most definitely a demon ending our world in that flick. Alright, let's get going. At number 5, we've got Balar, the Celtic demon king, the tyrant leader of the hostile and monstrous supernatural race known as the Fomorians, the one-eyed giant. Grow up. This is a demon well known throughout Celtic folklore. Balar, while being massively destructive, also graced the legends with some heroes through his lineage. In fact, one of the great legends, Lugh, was his grandson. We'll look at that a little closer in a minute. Having one giant eye is cool and all, but Balar did more than just look around with it. After spying on the creation of an evil potion, his eye became poisonous. Anywhere Balar looks, destruction follows. When opened, it allows an entire army to be overwhelmed by just a few soldiers. It lays waste to the countryside. It petrifies brave men. There are 7 coverings to protect it and keep it cool, each so heavy that they require 4 strong men to open it. Each layer unleashes a new level of power. It's said that when 1 is opened, the bracken begins to wither. At 2, the grass becomes copper colored, and with 3, the woods and timber begin to heat. 4 causes smoke to rise from the trees. 5, everything grows red, and at 6, it will spark. Once all 7 are wide open, everything in sight of the eye will catch fire. As such, Balar is considered to be the personification of drought, blight, and the scorching sun. Eventually, he was indeed killed by his grandson, and even after being killed, continued to wreak havoc. His decapitated head burned a giant hole in the earth, and his massive body killed 27 men beneath it when he fell. That's a lot of damage. Coming in at number 4, we have Encanis. This demon hails from the Kingkiller Chronicle, Patrick Rothfuss's masterful fantasy epic. Encanis is the enemy of the god figure Telu. He is the most powerful demon in all existence, with a face in shadow and a voice like a knife in the minds of men. Before being hunted down, Encanis roamed the world, bringing chaos and destruction wherever he went. In the famous story of their final altercation, he was chased by Telu for 8 days. In the first 6, he destroyed 6 great cities. Only on the 8th day was he captured and bound to an iron wheel before being burned alive. Even then, he broke free and had to be held tight by the wrists to the wheel by Telu himself. Then, both he and the gods were killed and sent on to oblivion. Even after death in this legend, his influence remained as a blight upon the earth. It's implied that the legendary hero Lanre, who could single-handedly turn the tide of a battle, sought out Encanis' forbidden knowledge in order to bring his love back from the dead. The knowledge he found broke him mentally and damned him to eternal life. This evil information corrupted him, causing him to destroy much of what he protected in the past, and he could even still be living on today as leader of the Chandrian. Such distorting power, still being accessible thousands of years after death, proves the immense power of Encanis and the true belief in the destruction he holds. Filling out our number 3 spot, we have the Ancient Ones. This ancient race of beings has lived on Earth much longer than humans. They sleep under the earth, requiring blood from ritual sacrifices in order to stay sleeping for another year. If the ritual fails, then they will wake up and destroy humanity. This threat is very real, as they are gargantuan, lava-like beasts with powers us lowly humans couldn't even hope to understand. It's hard to argue with power like that. Depicted in The Cabin in the Woods, it is implied that at one point, appeasing these bloodthirsty demons was easy. This is no longer the case, as their entertainment requirements have evolved over time. They are sadistic and cruel, forcing humans to bend to their whims. In order to remain dormant, they demand sacrifices and complex rituals, requiring humans to die in violent and painful ways. If there isn't enough suffering, they won't be satisfied. In order to slake this thirst for blood, the organization and multiple world governments have worked together in a sort of global conspiracy to keep them at bay. They sick monsters on human youth in horrible scenarios, very similar to the plots of horror movies. These monsters are manifestations of the Ancient One's desires for the punishment of young folk. Their almost unimaginable power could be a possible nod to the Cthulhu mythos, or maybe the Greek Titans. However, the most generally agreed upon theory is that they are a meta representation of the film-going public, always demanding more blood, guts, and violence in their horror movies. They've seen it all, and they need the genre to constantly evolve, potentially filling it with cliches and decadence. This theory makes the most sense to me, as I've seen what goes on in the comments section, and it is very clear that you folks out there will never be satisfied. I'm just waiting for the sacrifices to begin. Coming in at number 2, we have Mammon. Mammon wasn't originally a demon, but instead an ancient term for money or riches, and honestly, that's as likely to destroy the world as any demon. Over time, this idea has evolved, and Mammon became the demon of avarice, greed, and wealth. One of Satan's sons, this demon has been portrayed in many different ways with vastly different powers. This variety is where I attribute most of Mammon's power. There are just so many versions who are powerful in their own way. In Spencer's The Fairy Queen, Mammon oversees a cave of worldly wealth, and in Milton's Paradise Lost, he's a fallen angel who values earthly treasure over all other things. In some readings, he is Hell's ambassador to England, which is scary in and of itself. Others say he's the metaphoric personification of the materialist spirit of the 19th century, and if that's the case, he's definitely survived and grown much stronger since then. If you've read Michael Haig's illustrated vampire story Mammon, you will also know that Mammon gathers an army of vampires with demon bone weapons to fight Satan himself. These are powers you don't want to mess with, no matter what iteration of Mammon you're dealing with. Money is power after all. And finally at number 1, we have Nidhogg. The Curse Striker, he who strikes with malice. Nidhogg is the greatest threat to the Tree of Life. A dragon serpent who spends his days gnawing at the roots of the world tree Yggdrasil, this is the embodiment of the destructive elements in the universe. Its body is covered in bright scales with great horns upon its head. It has 4 legs with massive claws to rip at the roots of the tree, causing great injury to the tree that holds the 9 worlds of the cosmos. These ruinous actions have cataclysmic repercussions, as it is said that Nidhogg intends to pull the cosmos back into chaos. In fact, Nidhogg has a very prominent role in Ragnarok, the downfall of the cosmos. Once it chews through the roots anchoring Yggdrasil, it would fly out from beneath to aid the giants in the destruction of the universe as we know it. In the meantime, this dastardly dragon is said to preside over a part of the underworld known as the Shore of Corpses, punishing perjurers, murderers, adulterers, and oath breakers. Hopefully this job can keep Nidhogg busy for a while. Although if it is to break free, you can bet that Nidhogg will carry all sorts of criminals onto the surface with it. So you better watch out. At any moment, one of these demons could exercise its power and end the world. What do you think? What's your favorite of the 5? Do you know of any demons that should have made the list? Make sure you let me know down in the comments. Speaking of comments, let's take a look at some of your more calamitous ones from our top 5 scariest SCP monsters from Series 3. LPS Insomniac Art says, "It's okay, I'm already vibing in the SCP Foundation." Are you really vibing, or did someone make you think that you're vibing through some amnestics? Golden Nugget says, "I want to see a video of you talking about what you think about SCP-001. That's a tall order. I do enjoy when day breaks, but there's just so much more going on concerning 001. Maybe someday." Jen Hilda says, "Very dudeish cardigan, Keegan, really ties the video together." Well, yeah, that's just like your opinion, man. And Saint Sin says, "Damn it, your face didn't show in the preview, so I thought it was Lucy. Go watch/look into some of the stuff you cover, man. It's painfully obvious that this is outside your personal interest." Well, yeah, that's just like your opinion, man. Scott Stoner says, "It's chitin, not chitin. You are dismissed." I learn something new every day. Thank you for the scientific pronunciation. It's all the time we have for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.